Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Hare
Pushkar.
They all will come. Okay. You want to sit on this side?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Those people will sit on that. Or if you want to sit on chair, you're welcome. Wherever is Put some out.
When you finish the programs, are we gonna get lecture copy of the lectures?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Ram
Ram.
Hare Ram
ઘડિયાળ નથી યાદ લાવ્યા.
On है?
It's not on.
Now it's on. Now it's on.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Jaya कुंज विहारी जय राम माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राम माधव जय कुंज विहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यमुना तीरवर चारे यमुना तीरवर चारे यमुना तीरवर चारे यमुना तीरवर चारे जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यमुना तीरवर चारे यमुना तीरवर चारे जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Varya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कथा की जय। युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So today we will hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 2nd chapter, texts 25 and 26. We will only read the translation. The chapter is entitled as Prayers by the Demigods. So the 25th verse goes thus. Brahma bhavascha tatraityā munibhir naradadibihi devaihai sanucharaihai sakam girbhir prashanamaidayan. Translation. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narad, Deval and Vyas, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra and Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, where they all joined in offering respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone. And also text number 26. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyam Mrita Satya Netram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapannaha. Translation. The demigods prayed, O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone for all time. You are the beginning of all truth. Therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। At the very beginning of present day's discourse, I would like to offer my most respectfully prostrated obeisances unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Radha and Madan Mohan Dev, along with their eternal associates like Shri Lalita Devi, Shri Vishakha Devi, Shri Ruparati Manjari, etc. And along with that, I would also like to submit my most respectfully prostrated homages unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their eternal entourage such as Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and all the 6 Goswamis of Shri Dham Vrindavan. Finally, I would like to pay my most submissive obeisances unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanaravind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has very artistically propagated the doctrine of Krishna consciousness throughout this world in this present modern era in a most unique and fantastic, enchanting way. Conclusively, I would also like to pay my obeisances unto all the senior Vaishnavas and devotees present, and thereby I would like to commence the context of our discussion, the context of the 10th canto, 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the topic of Garbhastuti, also known as the prayers offered by the demigods unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So, now from today, we will start the actual discussion on the Garbha Stuti, on the prayers offered by the demigods. Since past 4 days we discussed about the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam and also about Srimad Bhagavatam's true internal identity and its factual position and its factual internal nature. And after revealing Srimad Bhagavatam's factual identity, we will now begin describing our proposed topic. So, as Suta Goswami had been asked, or he had been questioned by Shaunaka Rishi and all the other 88,000 sages who had assembled there in Naimisharanya. In the very first canto, very first chapter, Shaunaka Mahamuni had asked Suta Goswami, Suta janasi bhadram te bhagavan sattvatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jato yasya chikirshaya. O Suta Goswami, may all auspiciousness be unto you. May you be all auspicious. May all auspiciousness be granted unto you. Suta janasi bhadram te Bhagavan sattvatam patihi. Why we are granting all auspiciousness unto you? Because we are very inquisitive to know why that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Vasudeva, Shri Krishna, who is actually considered the Lord and Master of his devotees, who are situated in a transcendental position of Vishuddha Sattva. The devotees of the Lord are also known as Mahabhagavatas or Sattvatas. So the devotees of the Lord, because the only worshipable deity is Vishuddha Sattva May Shri Bhagavan, or that transcendental personality who is fully constituted of Vishuddha Sattva. That transcendental personality of Shri Narayan or of Shri Krishna is the worshipable deity of his devotees. That is why his devotees are known as Sattvatas. Those who worship Vishuddha Sattva Maya Shri Bhagavan, or that Supreme Personality who is full of Vishuddha Sattva, those who worship him are known as Sattvatas. So Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi. That Bhagavan who is full with 6 opulences, 6 transcendental opulences in their totality, and who has those opulences simultaneously in their totality, and those opulences which are transcendental, Aishvaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasah Shriyah Jnana Vairagya Yoshchaiva Sharanam Bhaga Itingana. That personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi, who is the Lord and Master of his devotees, Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikirshaya. After appearing from the womb of Mother Devaki through Vasudeva, Devakyam Vasudevasya Jata. After appearing from the womb of Mother Devaki Devi through Vasudeva, his father, what did this Lord Vasudeva Shri Krishna he do? How many activities, how many pastimes, how many transcendental divine deeds and supramundane exploits has he performed or accomplished? This is the question. Suta janasi bhadramte bhagavan sattvatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jato yasya chikirshaya. And also there is another question posed by or presented by Shaunaka Mahamuni unto Suta Goswami, that Hare Avatar Kathaha Shubhaha. This is second question, which there also Suta Goswami has been questioned by Shaunaka Rishi, and Shaunaka Rishi is directly asking him that, O Suta Goswami, please narrate unto us the pastimes of Shri Krishna. After that he has appeared in Mathura, whatever pastimes he did, please narrate all those transcendental pastimes, Chinmay Leela unto us, Chinmay Leela of Shri Krishna. And because Suta Goswami had been questioned by Shaunaka Rishi thus, in this way, in this manner, so Also, Shukdev Goswami also has been questioned by Parikshit Maharaj in the very beginning, in the same way. Parikshit Maharaj has asked Shukdev Goswami that Kathito Rajovacha Kathito Vangsha Vistaro Bhavatam Soma Suryayoho Ragyam Chobhaya Vamshyanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Kathito Vangsha Vistaro Bhavatam Soma Suryayoho. That you have already described unto me. Parikshit Maharaj is telling to Shukdev Goswami, this is the very first verse of the first chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dashama Skand, Pratham Adhyay, Pratham Shlok. So there, Raja Uvacha, Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukdev Goswami that, O Shukdev Goswami, you have already described unto me in the 9th canto, in the previous 9th canto, about the two types of dynasties, the Sun dynasty and the Moon dynasty, because there are 4 varnas or 4 classes of civilized human beings. Civilized human beings, Aryans, are divided into 4 classes, and the second order of class, or the Dvitiya Varna, second class, or the second order of class, is known as Kshatriya Varna, or the Kshatriya class. And this Kshatriya class, or the administrative class, has been divided twofold, one coming from the Sun god, Sun dynasty, Surya Vansh, another coming from the Moon god, Moon dynasty, Chandra Vansh, Soma Vansh. So, in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj has told Shukdev Goswami that you have already described to me regarding, you have already described unto me, you have already narrated unto me the different stories and different narrations in regards to the different kings, saintly kings, Rajarshis, who appeared in both of these dynasties, Sun and the Moon dynasties, in the previous yugas of Satya, Treta and Dwapar. But now, I am especially very much inquisitive to know the transcendental pastimes of Shri Krishna. After that, Shri Krishna has appeared from the womb of Mother Devaki, and before his appearance, before his advent, he has made his elder brother Sankarshana, who is his expansion, he has made him migrated from the womb of Mother Devaki into the womb of Mother Rohini. After that, he has done it. Lord Krishna has appeared with his potency, Yogamaya potency, known as Ekanansha, who is also his sister. So Krishna has appeared with her sister Ekanansha, Yogamaya, along with his elder brother Balram, who is his expansion. So after appearing in such a way, what Shri Krishna has, how many deeds he has performed, how many pastimes he has accomplished. This is the question also asked by Parikshit Maharaj unto Shukdev Goswami in the very beginning of the 10th canto. And there also, because we have to focus all the 3 conversations, we have to concentrate on all the 3 conversations, all the 3 different types of samvadas which are existing within Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first samvada, as we discussed yesterday, is the samvada of Suta and Shaunaka. The second samvada or conversation is ensuing between Vyasadeva and Narad. And the third conversation is ensuing between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. So now we have already known that in both the conversations of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami and Suta and Shaunaka, the same question has been asked. That please reveal unto us the transcendental nectarian pastimes of the Lord, Shri Krishna especially. And now if we will probe into the Narada and Vyasa Samvada, or the conversation which takes place between Narada and Vyasa, there in the 5th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there also the same question, actually question has not been asked there, but rather a decree has been issued, an order has been issued on Vyasadeva by Narada. Because Vyasadeva has asked Narada that what is the cause of my dissatisfaction, despite that I have compiled Shruti, Smriti, Agam, Nigam, Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads, Mahabharat, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranam, etc. I have compiled all these Vedic literatures, but despite my compilation of these Vedic literatures, and despite that I have tried to compile these Vedic literatures, or at least put them in written form, I have tried to put those eternally existing Vedic literatures in a written form, just for the benefit of the mankind, just for the benefit of the mankind I have done all this. But still, why is it that I am feeling dissatisfaction? So Narada has given the answer there. Shri Narada Uvacha Bhavatanudita Prayam Yasham Bhagavato Malam. Bhavatanudita Prayam Yasham Bhagavato Amalam. Then Narada has told Vyasadeva that you have written all different branches of Vedic knowledge, you have described in your different treatises and books. But so far, according to my understanding, Yasham Bhagavato Amalam, you have also described the glories and pastimes of Lord Vasudeva. But those glories and pastimes of Lord Vasudeva that you have described so far in many other preceding Puranas, like Brahma, Vishnu Puran, etc., Padma Puran, etc. In all these other preceding Puranas, you have also described the glories and the pastimes of Lord Krishna. But those glories and pastimes of Sri Krishna that you have described are not to be considered amalam. They are rather to be considered madayuktam. Those different types of glorifications in different ways and in different formats and in different manners that you have done in different Puranas, those different types of glorification and pastimes that you have described in various ways, those descriptions, those depictions, those illustrations of Krishna's pastimes are rather to be considered contaminated descriptions. Madhyuktam, not completely unadulterated, but rather contaminated. But now I am ordering you, because you have asked me, you have asked me for the solution, you have asked me for the remedy of your malady. Malady means disease, and remedy means solution. Since you have asked me regarding the remedy for your malady, for your heart's malady, for your soul's malady, malady of the form of dissatisfaction, a santosh, malady in the form of dissatisfaction. So I am now imparting unto you the best solution, the best type of remedy for your heart's and soul's malady. And what is that remedy? That remedy is that you please describe the pastimes of Shri Krishna in an unadulterated way. That pastime, those descriptions of Krishna's pastimes and glories should have no contamination. That is why Yasham Bhagavato Amalam Yenai Vasena Tushyeta. And like this, you will become perfectly satisfied. Yenai Vasena Tushyeta. This is what Narada has told Vyasadeva there. Narada is also the spiritual master, preceptor of Vyasa Muni. So, between Narada and Vyasa, in their conversation, Narada has ordered Vyasadeva to describe the pastimes of Krishna. And here, Shaunak Mahamuni has asked Sutta Goswami to describe the pastimes. And here, Parikshit Maharaj has also asked Shukdev Goswami to describe the pastimes of the Lord. Because of these threefold inquiries into the nature of the pastimes of the Lord, that is why in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Lord have been described in quite a great bit of elaboration. But when Shukdev Goswami is describing the beginning of the advent of the Lord onto this earthly domain, at that time Shukdev Goswami is also describing the reason or the causes for the Lord's advent on this earth planet. So the reason which is being described by Shukdev Goswami is known as relieving Mother Earth from its burden. Removing the burden of Mother Earth or relieving Mother Earth from its burden. And the burden of Mother Earth is found in the form of those miscreants or in the form of those demonic kings who were ruling over the earth and who were actually the pillars of irreligion, who were manifest as the pillars of irreligion. And those pillars of irreligion like Kansa, Jarasandha, Shishupal, Dantavakra, etc., these demonic kings, they were ruling over the earth, and this was the burden that Mother Earth was feeling. And being distressed by this burden, Mother Earth went in the assembly of King Indra, who is the king of all the demigods, 33 million demigods of heaven. And Indra said that I have no solution. So Indra took Mother Earth to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma also went to Lord Shiva. And along with Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra and Mother Earth, they all have went and approached the milk ocean, the shore or the bank of the milk ocean, Kshirasagara. And this milk ocean, this Kshirasagara is located near Lord Indra's planet in heaven known as Amaravati Puri. So when they have approached this Kshirasagara, at that time the demigods headed by Brahma, Shiva and Indra, including Mother Earth, and also sages like Narada and the four Kumaras, they were also there. So this group of demigods and sages have approached the milk ocean, but at that time they are not able to see the physical form of Lord Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who is lying down on that milky ocean, on top of the serpent bed, on top of that Sheshanaga, as it has been very nicely illustrated in the Vishnu Sahasranam coming in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. Shantakaram bhujagashayanam padmanabham suresham vishwadharam gagana sadrisham meghavarnam shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. So Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam. Lord Vishnu, who is lying down on the Kshirasagara, on the milk ocean, he is Bhujagashayanam. He is resting on the Sheshanag, who is the expansion of the Sankarshan of the second quadruple expansion of Vaikuntha. So this Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who is also present as an individual super soul of every individual living entity, Ishware Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. So this super soul who is present as Upateshta Hanumantacha Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasvajate Tayorannah Pippalaha Svadvatyanash Anyanno Abhishakachiti. So this super soul Kshirodakshai Vishnu, he is considered the Vyashti Paramatma. He is considered the individual super soul of every individual living entity. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is considered the individual super soul for every individual Brahmanda or universe. Vyashti Paramatma of the whole Brahmanda is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Vyashti Paramatma of Vyashti Jivatma, that means individual super soul for every individual living entity is Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Individual super soul for every individual universe, Brahmanda, is Garbhodakshai, and the one and the only super soul for all the aggregate material universes, for the whole material world, is Karanodakshai. This is the difference. Karanodakshai is known as Samashti Paramatma, aggregate super soul of all the material universes and the living entities found within those material universes. So the demigods have approached this Kshirodakshai Vishnu because within the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha, that Vishnu who comes within the trinity, he is not Garbhodakshai Vishnu or Karanodakshai Vishnu. He is rather the Kshirodakshai Vishnu who comes within the trinity. And it is the duty of the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Actually, Kshirodakshai Vishnu has been assigned the duty of maintaining the material world. The duty of sustaining and maintaining the material world has been assigned to Kshirodakshai Vishnu, not even to Garbhodakshai or Karanodakshai. And Kshirodakshai Vishnu, he predominates over the mundane mode of goodness. The Prakrita Sattva Guna, or the mundane mode of goodness, is predominated by Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the one who controls the mundane mode of goodness, and using the mundane mode of goodness, he maintains the material world. Whereas Brahma, using the mundane mode of passion, performs the act of secondary creation, Visarga. Whereas Shiva, or the 11 expansions of Shiva known as Rudras, beginning with Nila Lohita, etc., these Rudras, they perform the act of destruction or dissolution or annihilation. When the appropriate time arrives, they perform the act of annihilation or dissolution using the mode of ignorance, Tamoguna. But Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, utilizing the mode of goodness, mundane goodness, as instrumental, he performs the task of maintaining the material world. So, when Kshirodakshaya Vishnu maintains the material world, what about those devotees of the Lord who are not the part of material world? Even though they are residing within the material world, they are not the parts of the material world. So there in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Baldev Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented that those devotees of the Lord, pure devotees of the Lord, who have attained perfection on the path of devotional service, they are not to be considered part of this material world, even though they are residing within this material world, just like a lotus flower which emanates from the water, but still it is not considered part of water. Padma patra mevam bhasa. So, their maintenance, the maintenance of his pure devotees, Lord's pure devotees, is not done by Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. The maintenance, the sustenance of the pure devotees of the Lord is rather performed by the Lord himself, by the Bhagavan feature, not by the Paramatma feature. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu has been considered Paramatma feature. He is not to be considered within the Bhagavan category. There are 3 categories in which the self-same absolute truth appears according to different eligibilities of different eligible persons, following different paths of who are following the different paths of self-realization. So, the same absolute truth appears as Nirvishesh Brahman, impersonal Brahman, as localized Paramatma, super soul, and as Bhagavan, 6 opulences. So this Bhagavan feature of the Lord, that is the one who actually performs the act of maintaining his devotees. That is why when the Lord has said in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaha Pariyupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, those who are exclusively devoted to me, for them I endeavor to preserve what they already have, what they already possess, and I bring to them, I supply to them what they lack. I supply to them whatever they lack, whatever they do not possess as of now, by carrying those items on my head. Vahamyaham. Yes. By carrying those items on my head, I supply those items to my devotees if they are lacking those items. So that is known as yoga. And kshema means I preserve whatever they have, and this I personally do, vahami. I do not karavani. I do not make it happen through the agency of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. This is what Vishwanath and Baldev have commented. Karavani, na karavani. I do not make this happen. I do not preserve what they have and supply to them whatever they lack through the agency of Super Soul or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. I rather do not do it myself. I also do not perform this act myself through my hands. Karoni. If Lord Krishna would have used the word karamani there, that means that Lord makes this happen through the agency of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. It makes the sustenance of his devotees occur through the agency of Super Soul, Kshirodakshaya. But he has not used the word karmani. Rather, he does not even use the word karomi, that I personally do. Because if the word karomi had been put there, then a sense could have been derived, or an interpretation could have been derived, that the Lord, although does it personally, but he does it through his hands. He brings whatever his devotee lacks through his hands. He brings whatever necessary items, whatever essential items that his devotee lacks, by his hands he brings. But no, even karomi is not used. Karomi means Lord personally does. But even that meaning would imply that the Lord brings whatever items that his devotees let through his hands or by his hands. But no, not even karoni is used, but rather vahami is used. And vahami means to carry on the head. Vahami means to carry on head or shoulders. It has both meanings, but to carry. If you place some item on your palm top or on your hands, that it does not mean that you are carrying that item. It means you are holding that item. Karoni could mean holding, but vahami means specifically carrying only. And there are many instances where those who have doubted this statement of Bhagavad Gita, but those who are pure devotees, Lord Krishna has proved this statement by physically carrying those items on his shoulder tops or on his head and bringing them in front of his devotees. So this is how Lord Krishna maintains his pure devotees. But for those who are conditioned souls or those who are liberated but who are not pure devotees, who are jnanis or yogis, for them Kshirodakshai Vishnu. In the normal case, devotees' case is special. In the normal case, for karmis, jnanis, yogis, papis, punyatmas, everyone, for satkarmi, kukarmi, etc., for everyone, in a normal case, Lord makes the act of sustenance happen through the agency of Super Soul Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So this Kshirodakshai Vishnu or Super Soul, it is actually his function to maintain the material world. And the maintenance of material world has many different objectives or purposes. The maintenance of material world, the first purpose of maintaining the material world is to, actually there are four purposes. So first purpose of maintaining the material world is to make the religious practice which is on the verge of decline or which has already declined to a greater extent, in a greater proportion. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata. That religious practice which has declined in a greater proportion. In order to restore or re-establish that religious practice or those religious practices, especially the religious practices of Varnashrama Dharma and Yuga Dharma. There are two types of religious practices which are put emphasis upon, which have been emphasized herein. Varnashrama Dharma can also be considered religious practice here, and Yuga Dharma, or the different religious practices for the different four yugas, they are also to be considered religious practices or dharma here. So whenever dharma or religious practice is on decline or is on the verge of decline, at that time the Lord appears to re-establish, restore the Daiva Varnashrama Dharma and the specific Yuga Dharma for that age. So this task belongs to Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the one who assumes 4 incarnations for 4 different yugas like Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali, and then appearing, manifesting himself as Yuga avatars or different Yuga incarnations, he restores the specific Yuga Dharma for that particular age and era. Shuklo raktas tathapita idanim krishnatam gataha asan varnas trayo yasya grihnate anuyugam tanam. This is how the Lord restores. But this act is performed directly by Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Shri Krishna, who is Swayam Bhagavan, has no involvement in this act. So the first purpose of maintenance or maintaining this material world is to re-establish the religious practices. The second aim or purpose of maintaining this material world is to lessen the amount or influence of adharma or irreligious practices or irreligion which is predominantly on rise. Irreligion or those irreligious practices which are contradicting the regulations of the Shrutis and Smritis, which are contradicting the regulations laid down by the Vedas and Vedic scriptures. Those irreligious practices which are on predominant rise, to lessen or to weaken those irreligious practices is the second motive or second purpose of maintenance. Now remember one thing here. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. O Bharata, or the descendant of King Bharata, Arjuna, whenever and wherever there is decline of religious practice and there is a predominant rise of a religion, at that time I manifest my transcendental divine personage in every millennium. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And by manifesting, by appearing in such a way, I re-establish and restore those religious practices, dharma samsthapanarthaya. I destroy the miscreants or the demonic personalities who are making the irreligious practices rise and predominant. So I perform these activities and I also liberate my devotees. These are the activities I perform whenever I incarnate as Yuga Avatar. This is what Krishna has also described in the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So the second, or now one has to remember that adharma and dharma cannot be destroyed, or it cannot be destroyed totally, and adharma also cannot be destroyed in totality. Dharma and adharma both cannot be destroyed fully. Why? What is the reason? If either dharma is destroyed totally, or if either adharma becomes destroyed totally, if either dharma perishes in totality, and if either adharma perishes in totality, then in the swarupa of the Lord, in the nature of the Lord, or in his constitutional position, a mutation or a vikara occurs. Lord undergoes a mutation. Why? Because as it has been described in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, during the process of creation, dharma along with punya, religion along with merits, pious merits, punya karma, appears from the front part of the Lord. Dharma along with punya, or the pious merits along with religious practices, they appear from the chest of the Lord, from the chest of Lord Narayana, from the chest of Lord Vishnu, whereas adharma or irreligious practices along with papa or the vices or the sins, they appear from rather the rear part, or rather from the back, prishtabhag, rather from the back of Supreme Lord Narayana. This is what has been described by Shukdev Goswami in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. And because dharma and adharma both have their original source within the personality of Lord Vishnu, and that is why they are both eternal. They can never be destroyed fully. That is why even dharma or religious practice is on decline. It never becomes destroyed totally. It remains in a lesser portion, in a lesser amount, in a lesser quantity, but it still remains. And adharma, even though it is predominantly rising, expanding day by day, and even when Lord appears, he curbs the influence of adharma. He curbs down the influence of adharma. He curbs down the impact of adharma or irreligiosity. But even the Lord is not able to fully destroy adharma or irreligiosity, because adharma has become manifest from his transcendental Vishnu Narayana form. And that is why adharma and dharma both are eternal and they cannot be destroyed fully. They will exist whether in lesser amount or in greater amount depending upon the situation, their relative existence. So it is the duty of Kshirodakshayi Vishnu to re-establish religion by curbing down the influence of irreligion. So curbing down the influence of irreligion is one purpose. To re-establish the religion is the second purpose. Third purpose is to destroy the miscreants or the asuras. But even by destroying those miscreants, Lord awards them liberation. One of the 5 types of liberations. Hatari Gati Dayaka. This is one of the 64 qualities of Shri Krishna. And that is why it has been described there in Vishnu Purana by Parashar Muni unto Maitreya, that Siddha Lokaha tu Tamasaha Pare Yatra Vasanti Siddha Brahma Sukhe Magnaha Daityascha Harina Hataha. It has been described in such a way that those demons who have been killed personally by the Lord or by his hands, those demons, they receive the liberated position or the liberated status by the gracious desire of the Lord. So, by killing those miscreants or demons, Lord gives them liberation. This is the third purpose why he incarnates. And the fourth purpose is to liberate his devotees from the clutches and pangs of his material existence. But this fourth task is done by the personality of Godhead Bhagavan. Paramatma cannot do it. As we were discussing yesterday in the evening, Paramatma cannot do this fourth task of liberating his devotees. Paritranaya sadhuna. This task is directly done by the Bhagavan feature. The other three tasks, that means to weaken the irreligious practices, to make the religious practices again predominant, re-establish, and to destroy the miscreants. These three tasks of maintenance are directly done by Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. But the fourth task, that is to deliver his devotees, liberate his devotees, paritranaya sadhunam, this is not done by Paramatma. Paramatma cannot do it. Why? Because Srila Jiva Goswami explains in his Paramatma Sandarbha that Paramatma is such a feature of the Lord, is such a special feature of the Lord, which does not deal with transcendental world, with internal potency, and with those devotees of the Lord who are on transcendental position, who are situated on the level of Vishuddha Sattva. Paramatma has no right to interact in whatsoever manner with the devotees of the Lord who are situated on the transcendental platform, Sattvatas, transcendental world, and the internal potency. Paramatma has no interaction, no reciprocation with the spiritual world, Adhyatmic Jagat. He has no reciprocation with the pure devotees of the Lord who are situated on the transcendental platform, and he has no reciprocation with internal potency. These are three specialities of Paramatma which make Paramatma different from Bhagavan. So, for those who have purely devoted themselves unto the lotus feet of the Lord, in the hearts of those devotees, Lord manifests his Bhagavan form, and the Paramatma form of the Lord becomes unmanifest. It becomes unmanifest and inactive, and rather the Bhagavan form of the Lord becomes active. So Bhagavan form of the Lord becomes active, becomes manifest in the hearts of his pure devotees, and that Bhagavan form of the Lord acts as Paramatma for his pure devotees, and then that Bhagavan form of the Lord is the one who gives that transcendental intelligence, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayantite, and Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Svagatim Vyanakti. Those two shlokas, one from Gita, another from Bhagavatam. When Lord appears as Chaitya Guru, as Paramatma, guiding his devotee to come to the final destination, that Paramatma is actually Bhagavan who is assuming the role of Paramatma. Paramatma cannot take the role of Bhagavan. Brahman, Nirvishesh Brahma, impersonal Brahman cannot take the role of Paramatma. But Paramatma can take the role of impersonal Brahman, because Paramatma is higher category, superior form, superior manifestation of absolute truth. But Paramatma, because it is inferior manifestation than the Bhagavan feature, Paramatma cannot display the function of Bhagavan feature, but Bhagavan feature can display the functions of both impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. And that is why that worshipable deity which is worshipped by a particular devotee, that Bhagavan form of the Lord, which is worshipped by a particular devotee, that Bhagavan form of the Lord becomes rather manifest as Paramatma and assumes the role of Paramatma in the heart of his pure devotee, and the real Paramatma, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, becomes completely dormant and inactive. This is what has been from the statements of the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti on Gita and in Paramatma Sandarbha, what Jiva Goswami states. So because Kshirodakshaya Vishnu has no direct connection with the spiritual world or with the internal potency or with his pure devotees who are situated on transcendental platform, And Paramatma only has connection with the external potency, Trigunatmika, Maya, Bahiranga, Shakti, Prakriti. And that is why Jiva Goswami, when he has defined Kshirodakshai Vishnu's position in Paramatma Sandarbha, he states that Kshirodakshai Vishnu is actually that form of Bhagavan, that form of the Absolute Truth, who is integrated, although he is not influenced by the material nature, although Kshirodakshai Vishnu does not become influenced by the material nature, like Shiva and Brahma, they become influenced. But Kshirodakshai Vishnu does not become influenced by the material nature, but still he is integrated with material nature very deeply. And that is what makes him different from that Bhagavan feature of the Lord, which has nothing to do with the material nature at all in any sense, which has everything to do only with the internal potency, which has nothing to do with external potency. This is what makes Paramatma and Bhagavan features different. So, this Kshirodakshai